What's up, and welcome to the Single Player Experience Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sebastion, and in this episode, we're going to be doing a deepest discussion episode about NBA 2K23. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and everything in between. So, if you like NBA 2K23 and you want to hear a really in depth conversation about it, then you're in the right spot. So, joining me on this adventure and on this episode today is none other than Adriun The AthGeek Harrison. Adriun is one of the biggest 2K fans that I know. He plays this game pretty much every single day, and he basically knows all the ins and outs of NBA 2K23. So, who better to be on this discussion than him? So, he and I are going to be talking about the good, the bad, everything in between of this game, and we're going to be telling you if you should get NBA 2K23. And we're going to do it right after the intro. DJ, start the intro, man. Hey everyone, like I said in the intro, we have a very special guest joining us today. He is the host of the AthGeeks podcast. This guy knows his anime, and if you heard the show before, you've heard me speak to him about all things Persona. Well, we're back again like a bad habit because today we're going to be talking about the 2K series. And the reason why I have this special guest on the show is because 2K has been breaking this man off of all his money for about a decade plus at this point. So I knew that he knows all the ins and outs of the NBA 2K series. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is the one, the only, Adriun The AthGeek Harrison. Adriun, how you doing today?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I'm happy to have you on. So, what have you been playing lately outside of Persona 5?
Outside, I've been playing Hogwarts. Yeah, my wife's a
What?
big Harry Potter fan, so I bought it and we've been playing that one together. But outside of that, it's the usual 2K, Madden, the Yakuza game you told me to play. I said I've been moved. I tried Dragon Quest, but I went back to Yakuza because I was like, I don't want to get into too many single players at once. So I went back to Yakuza. So it's basically just been those. And I'm trying to get back into Apex now too.
Okay. So how you liking Yakuza Like a Dragon so far?
It's fun. It's fun. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I like the whole persona type fighting style because
Mm-hmm.
like okay, like the whole battle, like the turns. I like the turn based system.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So I gotta ask you, based on our conversation last time where we talked about Persona 5, would you drop all these games like a bad habit if Persona 6 came out on Monday?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Persona holds a place in my heart that is just like whenever Persona 6 gets out, I'm gonna be on there. I'm gonna be on there.
It's a day one buy at that point, huh?
Absolutely.
I feel you. I feel you. So, I brought you on this episode not to talk about Persona, but to talk about NBA 2K23. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into this. But before we begin, this year's iteration, what are you playing on? What are you playing this game on? And what do you think about it so far?
I'm playing it on PS5. So far I have mixed feelings. It is more so if you're playing on the single player experience, you're enjoying yourself. You don't have to deal with the online shenanigans and the constant back and forth between the competitive players versus the casual players, which has been a debate and a weird little thing 2K's had to juggle for a while. To where in the beginning of the year, shooting was extreme. It was shooting was very difficult. There was a skill gap, so that if you couldn't green your shot, you missed your shot. So it was a big skill gap, and it made a lot of players want to give up on the game because they were like, we can't shoot, we can't do these. And now 2K got the casual fan base has taken over, and 2K has reverted back to older 2Ks where you're seeing slightlies going, you see lates and earlys going in, and so there's that little divide between casual versus competitive. But all in all, for a casual play, I think it's been a pretty good play. It's been
Okay.
a good experience.
Okay. Gotcha. So I have this weird tradition with 2K, and I can't explain to you why I do this. And you're going to look at me like a madman. So as most of the listeners know, I have every console under the sun, but like for some reason I always go back and forth every year on what system I'm playing 2K on. And it's the weirdest thing. I cannot explain it. But like last year I was playing on the PS5. This year I decided to test out what it would feel like to play once again on the Xbox side of things. So I've been playing it on the Xbox Series S and X. And one of the reasons why I did that is because like it's seamless, so to speak, of like if I'm playing upstairs in my game room, that's where my Xbox Series X lives. And then if I go downstairs, I can pick up right back where I left off, just downstairs and on my Series S. And don't get me wrong, that's first world problems, but I did not want to have to I did not want to have to just, if go upstairs every time I wanted to play 2K, so to speak, because I only have one PS5 and that's upstairs. But so I can think that was the deciding factor of what edition I kind of went with this year. And I gotta say, I feel a little weird playing on the Xbox side of things. After playing last year on the PS5, especially with like the DualSense and the fact that like the trigger support for those, it feels weird going backwards. It almost feels like I'm disrobing and now I'm booty butt naked playing 2K. Like it feels weird.
I
So
definitely understand that. One of my homies has an Xbox, and when I was over his house, I played it on Xbox. And I haven't touched the Xbox controller since the 360, so I felt so out of place.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, with sports games like this, it's almost muscle memory to where
Mm-hmm.
like you're associating, hey, I know this button is going to do this, and I know like how to execute this. And for the most part, like Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller are pretty much identical. It's that one step to where I have to think, okay, like R1 and RB are like the same thing, but I have to translate it in my mind in the 2K thing of like R1 is supposed to be like this is what R1 is. No, wait, I'm playing on Xbox, it's RB now. So I'm like, it's that one split second to where I feel like I kind of falter a little bit because I'm translating.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when there's certain moments where it puts up the button icon. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know what button I'm pressing right now. I gotta go look at the controller.
Man, it's that like I've played so much on both systems. I can kind of like I have that muscle memory with the controller part. It's just the terminology or like the lingo of like, hey, A button and versus X button. And I'm like, okay, X button on Xbox is a completely different X button than PlayStation, by the way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, so that part trips me up a little bit more so than anything else. But I gotta ask you, what type of 2K gamer are you?
This year I've been more on the casual side. In the past, like last year and the year before, I was more on the comp side to where I entered all the pro am tournaments from the WRs to the Hall of Fames. I entered all those little tournaments. I entered all the competitions because I like to play on the comp level, so it was enjoyable. But this year I've been more laid back. I've been playing just mainly rec park. I've played more of the my league setting with some of my friends and everything like that, and the Jordan mode. That's a cool game mode that they added this year, bringing it back from 2K11 and 2K12. So it's been this year. I've been more casual, and I have been enjoying myself a lot more because it's a lot less stressful.
So what like normally what's your favorite mode to play in 2K games?
Normally, I'm since 2K17, I've been an online gamer. For the most part, I've been in either the rec or the pro am for the most part now.
Okay, gotcha. I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like I play this game and I go straight to the my league or my era kind of mode, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see nobody else. I don't want to look at nobody else. I'm just like, I want to basically like run my franchise and rebuild my Supersonics from the ground up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much how I kind of play this. But like the Jordan mode is one that this year I decided I was like, I like the way this looks. I like the way that kind of feels. And I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of it back in 2011. So I wanted to kind of relive those days, and I wanted to kind of see how this version kind of meshed against the ones I remembered. And it's phenomenal. Like the presentation is on point for that mode.
Especially with a historic filter and everything, to
Yeah.
where you see everything and it actually feels like you're playing from back then. So it's actually really cool. I enjoyed it a lot too.
Yeah, it really does. I like the weird part about like some of that is like actually like in this day and age, I'm so used to being conditioned to try to take as many 3-point shots as I can now.
Mhm.
And seeing in that era, I'm like, I think there's a couple of games at the very beginning where there is no 3-point shot,
Mhm.
like completely. And I'm like, oh, this looks completely different. This almost feels weird.
It does. It does. Especially like how you mentioned earlier, the my era,
Hmm.
when 2K fixed and adjusted the tendencies to where people don't shoot threes. No matter, even if you like import a character, like how you can import characters, you import Stephen Curry into the 80s, and he'll be shooting 1 3 a game. And it's like, and even because they adjust everything, like this era, they didn't shoot threes. So even if you put somebody with a 99 3 in there, they're still not going to shoot threes because how the tendencies are set, it actually feels realistic. You see them shoot a lot of mid range. And if you go in there and actually watch, like, yeah, the computer plays, like the AI plays like they're actually in the 80s. There's less fouls calls and everything else like that. So I think they did a really good job when they added that.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love the My Era mode. I one of the things that like really ingratiated me with that mode is like the fact that you can pick an old retro team and you can play through the different eras or like simulate through the different eras and see how the trajectory of history changed and
Mhm.
everything like that. I some of it felt wrong and kind of dirty to me because I was just like, I don't like that Dirk did not go to the Mavs. I don't like that Kobe didn't go to the Lakers. You know, that feels weird. That feels like dirty. I'm like, I see Kobe in a uniform outside of the Lakers, and I'm like, ugh, this feels nasty, you know?
Yeah, but I'm kind of the opposite though, because when I was playing my era, I was kind of, since I already knew what kind of players were coming out,
Hmm.
I was always trading my draft picks. I was like, all right, Larry, this year, me and you it's gonna, even though you're gonna be older, it's gonna be like, hey, we're trading McHale, we're trading Robert Parrish, and we're stacking up draft picks for that 84 draft. We're grabbing Hakeem and Jordan. So you're gonna have Hakeem, Jordan, and Larry. So even though you're going in, you're fading into the sunset, you're gonna still have these greats with you. And I'm like, oh, look at that. We're at the 96, what's it called, draft. Time to draft Kobe. Trade the 90, all my other picks to get the 96. Do the same thing for 2003. So I was like always having the Celtics be greats. The Celtics were the greatest franchise ever in my era.
I bet they were. I
Yeah.
bet they were. So like on mine, I was kind of like I was playing it straight up for the most part, except that, you know, like when certain draft picks would come up, like I would I would still try to go very actively and try to getting Gary Payton. Like I like him as like as a supersonic. I wanted him to wear that again. Sean Kemp, I ended up getting him again and trading my assets for him. So I'm like, and then from there on, it was like I wanted to try to build a team around that to see if like we could actually stack up with a lot of the different teams of that era. But it was weird, oddly enough, in my era, at least my version of it, the Bulls still ended up being relatively the Bulls. Like Jordan still went to the Bulls. Jordan still went to the Bulls. Like Pippen still went to the Bulls. I don't know how that happened. That was already felt like that was rigged. And then like Rodman got traded to the Bulls, so that felt like, you know, deja vu all over again. And then they ended up getting um you know, a couple of different players. Like they got Muggsy for some reason, and I'm like, that feels a little stacked at that point. And then I think they got like Drexler towards the end of his career, and I was just like, they were still a super team at that point. It's just it was a different super team than the Chicago Bulls we're used to in real life.
Yeah, I feel like 2K does this thing where they have certain teams, regardless, they still become dominant in certain areas. Like no matter, even if you trade like Bird or Magic, somehow, some way, the Lakers and Celtics both dominate that era still. When you get to the 90s, somehow the Bulls always still dominate. I'm like, I feel like y'all have it like pre-programmed, like these teams are supposed to be good, so they always still make more moves than the other team would. I'm like, why are these other teams? Certain teams don't make moves regardless of what's called, like, how many times I've go through my era. These certain teams won't make a move. Even if I fire their general manager, hire a different general manager, they'll still just not make smart moves.
No, and to piggyback off of that thought, one of the things I dislike about that mode completely, and that's the my most played mode. Like I'm on that like a bad habit every single year. It's like I hate that they aren't thinking to themselves of like how do I keep these players? Because a lot of times I see players in free agency, and I'm like, you could have easily afforded that player. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
how'd you let that player fall to free agency? Like yeah, I'm like, I get it. Free agency is supposed to be like a good, fun time, and you know, like, especially in my era, to where like a lot of those like a lot of those older players didn't switch teams like they do now. Like now,
Mm-hmm.
I expect like there to be a frequency of like player movement, and like I expect the free agency market to be like a hot topic market. But back then, I'm like, there wasn't a big free agency market right there. Like everyone was loyal to their team. There was like 20,000 Damian Lillards back then versus now,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I wish they would have changed it because how they changed the tendencies of like with like how they play. I wish they would do the same thing with the loyalty aspect
Mm-hmm.
as well. Because like up until about like the early 2010s, that wasn't player movement wasn't really a thing. Before that, people stay. You see people leave at the end of their career, maybe like if they're ring chasing because they're like, okay, we try to do it at the end of the very end. But for the most part, everybody stay loyal regardless. So it's like that is a bit strange that they do that, and the fact that they haven't fixed the financial aspect of it to where
Mm-hmm.
players ask for ridiculous contracts. So you'll have so many good players in free agency, and they're like an 80 overall, and they're asking for 30 mil a year, and it's like 30 mil a year is what I'm asking for, like a higher 80, lower 90, and you need to be a certain age. If you're
Yeah.
34 and a 79 overall, I'm not paying you 25, 26 million a year to come join this team. And then the players were just sitting free agency for the entire year and they eventually retire because they don't sign any contracts because they're expecting too much.
Yeah, that's a very good point because I'm like, it's almost mirroring the Russell Westbrook buyout situation right now, to
Mm-hmm.
where like if Russ goes to a team at this point in time, we're recording, Russ just got bought out by the Utah Jazz, but like if Russ goes to a team and says like, hey, I want to be a starter, like it's rumored that he has with the Clippers, and said I want to also get paid 20 million, they're gonna laugh. They're gonna laugh him out the door, and he's never gonna get a job again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm like, it almost mirrors that, but then like there are aspects to where I'm like you said, like 30 million seems egregious for like an older player on the back end of their prime who's like knows they're in decline. I mean, I think they should have like that mid-level exception kind of like category, and they should really like hammer that hard. You know, like you're now a mid-level player or even like a smaller B tier level player, because there's only so much to go room and money to go around in that game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still haven't done like the veteran minimums and stuff. It's
Oh yeah.
I'm like there's so many things that 2K can still add that they haven't, because I'm like y'all are supposed to reflect the actual NBA. But I know when it comes to like the my league, my GM, my era stuff, they don't put as much attention to it. So you have people like the king of the fourth quarters, the what's called Click Productions and people like that are big in the My League community that are always complaining like, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. And 2K kind of like brushes them aside and they're like, that's not bringing in money. We need to
Yeah.
focus on the modes that's bringing in money. If they're bringing in revenue, then they get attention. You're not bringing in revenue, so unfortunately, you're gonna get the back end.
Yeah, for sure. Have you played a lot of the My Career mode this year?
I had to play the micro mode just to get to my obviously get my player up before I can go online. The my career mode is still I still don't like the fact that the story is set. I don't think I've liked it. I've enjoyed that since Spike Lee directed it, where
Yeah.
they have a set story to where no matter what you do, 2K is locking you into this story. I feel like they need to be more adaptive. So they did they looked like they were going to be, because like you play your first summer league game and it's like if you get this teammate grade you're gonna be a 6 man, this teammate grade you'll be like a bench player, blah blah blah, and it kept going like that. But I'm like, if I go play well, I should be a number one pick, not a 17th pick. And if I'm playing well, regardless, you be a starter. Like I'm coming in, I'm an 85 overall because that's the highest you can start off if you put VC in it. I'm an 85 overall. Yeah, if you put VC in, I'm an 85 overall. The summer league is on like rookie difficulty, so you can go in there and you can dominate. You can go drop an 80-point triple double. So I'm like the greatest player in NBA history, and you have me rotting on the bench playing 5 minutes a game. And then when I come in, I dominate in the NBA, and you're like, no, because it doesn't follow the story, and we want you to be locked in a set story. You're still going to be on the bench. And for 2K to have done this for multiple years in a row, it's like, be adaptive. Like let us like, hey, because if you think back on like 2K10, 2K11, if you remember how well you played in the draft combine determine your draft position
Mm-hmm.
and what team you went to. So you went to that team, you got drafted there, and how well you played there determined if you played. And I'm like, why did we go away from that? Y'all had the model back in 2K10, 2K11. Y'all went away from because y'all want to be story based. And it's like, hey, if I play well, the coach will play me because the coach is not going to lose game. If I play bad, let the coach bench me. Let it be like that and more adapted like it used to be versus this locked in story mode.
You know, the crazy thing is like I think you can have your cake and eat it too if they really wanted to do a story mode. Like games like we mentioned Persona and we mentioned like a Dragon earlier, like those games have a locked in story, but then there's a lot of flexibility on like to become who you want to be at like outside of that. Like you can build up your certain character, but like I mentioned those games because like a lot of other RPGs, such as like Knights of the Old Republic or like Mass Effect or different games like that, they have like they have text bubbles to where like you can actually choose like how you want to respond, how your character thinks, how your character portrays, and how your character acts in different like situations, and that determines how the overall story will go. So I think that should be a bigger play than what it actually is in this game. Like say if you are a arrogant guy and you say like, hey, like I am dropping all these dimes, I'm not getting any of my minutes, like I should be able to like have like text dialogues to where I can actually complain to different people. Like I can go to the media at any given point in the story. Like I should be able to tweet you have a phone in the game, you should be able to like tweet out different things like that if you really want your like coach to be put on blast or your like organization to be put on blast or like I they should also add that for like rivalries as well. Like right now we're in a good point right now where it seems like New Orleans and Phoenix is starting to actually have a rivalry right now, and then like Memphis right now it just seems like they beef with anybody that looks at them at this point in real life. So it's like I would love to see like you having a more like a bigger effect on the story and you to have that flexibility and freedom to say like, hey, I want to smoke Ja Morant. You're now going to be my rival. Like I'm at any given point, I'm going to text like we're going to text back and forth, or we're going to we're going to tweet back and forth and such like that, and then like that'll like that way every time y'all play each other they should have like a hype intro to where they recap different like texts and stuff like that. And then when they do like the walk-in area or like when they do like the presentation, like commentary, they'll talk about it. Like these guys have been going at each other's throats like all year. Like it should be like even like a regular season matchup should feel like a heavyweight title fight if you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy because they can do that because they already have the where like, okay, they allow you pick different options with the arrogant or be a team player, but they don't actually affect anything. Like how you
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, let make them affecting. Like that would make more sense because then it doesn't change it. Like, okay, if I be arrogant, then guess what? It'd be like, oh well, blah blah. Your teammates don't like you, but then you go in the game and they're passing you the ball and they treat you just like the same. If you be a team player, oh yeah, your teammates like you, and the teammates don't play any different regardless if you pick arrogant or team.
No,
Nothing changes. Like the story doesn't change. The only part what you can change the story is whenever you tell the GM you want to trade. They give you a
that's
choice:
it.
do you want to trade or not? And then it's like, oh, he wants to trade. Okay, he doesn't want to trade. He wants to stay here. And then the story outside of that part is the exact same regardless of what you do, which doesn't make sense. And then they have a rival, but then your rival, he doesn't feel like your rival.
No,
He doesn't feel like a rival at all. It's like, okay, yeah, you have some random backstory. It's like, okay, cool. You cook him. There's no
no
like
hype about it.
anticipation. There's no hype.
Mm-mm.
There's no nothing. And it's like, oh, he's talking trash, but we're really not like that. Doesn't affect the story at all. It doesn't affect anything. So it's like, all right, you have me doing these side quests, and you see 2K trying to become like an RPG. Like how
Mm-hmm.
this year they forced you to do the side quests. So like you run around with a hot dog on your head and everything to
That
go.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, he like doing these side quest fashion music, going to see J. Cole rap with J. Cole and everything. It's like, okay, these are cool, but then it's like these are side quests, but then you're forcing me to do them. Even if you don't want to, and let's say you wanted to be an online only player, you can't progress to even go do the online stuff without going that far. Where they're gonna force you to do these certain side quests. It's like you can't if you're gonna want a story, make the story, but make a good story. And if you don't, when people that want to play online, don't make them do the story. Let them just go, hey, we want to go online. We want to get out the mud and just grind. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend getting your badges online, but if you want to grit out the mud and do it that way, then let them.
So here's my proposition for you. Like I think they went a little wrong whenever they combined the Pro AM and the My Career mode. I think they should be two separate modes, and Also, like Madden has this one thing to where like they have a my career mode, and but it's separate. Like that
Mm-hmm.
storyline mode is very separate than your franchise mode. To where like if you want to play as like a just one single player, you can pick to be a quarterback, and you could just be that quarterback. You don't have and you could just play games. You don't have to worry about the story mode or anything like that. All three of those modes are separate in Madden, and for the most part, I think 2K is a better packaged video game than Madden. But like that choice to me feels like a more video game friendly choice than they have in 2K. Because right now it feels like they are just shoehorning you in. Like if you want to play all these modes, you're going to have to stomach it up and like play through our story on our pace at our given time. We want you to wear the hot dog like hat. We want you to actually meet Jake from State Farm. You got to actually play with J. Cole and rap with him. Like we like paid for these people or these elements to be in the game, or and we got paid for State Farm. We got paid by State Farm to put them in the game. Like we're going to make sure you have to interact with it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I like that you brought up the Mad thing, how their three parts are separate, because it feels like 2K, it used to be separate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
back in like 2K10, 2K11, before they took the crew mode out, it was separate. Like, you could go online or you could just play offline. And it was separate. But now it's like it's so locked in together, especially since they got rid of skill points. They got rid of skill points. So if you can't play 2K offline anymore,
That's crazy,
you
isn't it?
yeah, it's crazy because it's like you used to be like, if my internet went out or if I just wanted to get the game and play my career like I used to as a kid, get on, play, grind out, do everything like that. Nowadays, if literally when 2K drops, it says connect to the internet. If you can't connect to the internet, you cannot play my career, which doesn't make any sense to me because they're hand in hand, they locked it in the online. So it's like for the average fan that wants to play offline, they can't. They just can't. And with BC prices only going up, which is ridiculous. It's
That's
so ridiculous.
ridiculous. It
It
is.
is. It is. Everything's so much more expensive in 2K2, like how they raise the price of clothes and then they raise the price of attributes, and then you can't make VC in the game. Like you play a whole game, you do well, and you make 1200 VC. You can't upgrade anything with 1200 VC. You go do this side quest, which took 30 minutes, and you get 500 VC, and it's like, I can't do anything with 500 VC because it costs 40,000 VC to upgrade my player to a decent amount. It costs 200,000 to get them to 85, which is ridiculous. So it's like, do you want to spend 34 hours grinding, or do you want to pay $50 and just put your player up because they have it so hand in hand, which it
Yeah.
didn't used to be. And I feel like if you want to play on skill, if you want like bring skill points back, that's so ridiculous.
I'm right there with you. And the crazy thing is like before we had this conversation, I went back and I stomached a trip down memory lane, so to speak. And I actually played the last NBA Live game. I actually played it, and I played the career mode just so I can say apples to apples. This is what NBA Live used to be like in its heyday, or its day right before it basically fell off the cliff, so to speak. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like while it is old and very much dated in certain elements, that game has skill points. Like I never felt like they never charged me for anything. They never even asked for my information to upgrade my character, but like through my wallet. Like don't get me wrong, the game has elements to where I can obviously tell it is a big downgrade from 2K. But I'm gonna be honest, it's a complete package to where you get the entire game without having to pay anything extra, and it's a decent basketball game. It's not gonna blow you away. It's not up to the standards of 2K, especially now that 2K is like 5 years beyond where NBA Live was at that time. But like, yeah, it is. It's a fun experience still, and I played roughly 10 hours of it, and I was just like, I actually am enjoying myself. Don't get me wrong. It's old. It is. There's some elements to where I'm like, they don't come off the screen very well. Like there are some elements to where I'm like, I can easily pick up 20 and 20 because the rebounding system and the dunking system is easy and cheesy. But like that is something that I miss out of the 2K series is like I want there to be skill points back. Just I don't want to have to be online. I don't want to have to pay VC. I am like VC feels like the fall of 2K.
And it will be, because think about the fan bases. Put yourself in a middle school, high school kids situation. They're like, hey, they just, it's Christmas, they just got 2K. Their parents, most 90% of parents, 99% of parents just spent $70 on this game. You think they're gonna give you $50 more so you can go play online because you're forced to play online? Like you're gonna give you $50 more, like here's microtransactions so you can get to 85. And then you're gonna need another 50 to get what's called to 99 eventually, because it costs over 450,000 VC to get to 99. So it's like, okay, I'm just thinking back when I was a kid, and because I'm glad I got to grow up during the skill point era. Because I'm like, my mom wasn't giving me that. My mom
No.
would have been like, I just spent $70 on this game, and you expect me to give you $50 more? No, go play the game. And so I'm like, you're forced to play online. So it's like, hey, I'm running online with a 65 overall, going against these other people, these adults that have jobs, can put money into it. And I'm not enjoying myself because I'm a 65, they're a 99. Of course, they're supposed to cook me. Of course, they're going to beat me. Of course, they're going to dominate me. And it's just not an enjoyable situation. I used to play 2K all the time with my brothers and my little cousins and everything, but they don't even really play 2K. They get the game. They play my leagues with each other because they don't want to play my career, because they're like, they don't want to, they don't have time, they don't have money, they don't have jobs, they're middle schoolers, or like freshmen and sophomores at the highest. So they can't do it. They don't have that luxury. So there's like, what are we supposed to do? So they stop getting 2K. I've seen
Yeah.
some of my friends stop getting 2K because of that. And it's just tough.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Do you feel like it's just the mode that is killing everything, or you feel like there is a saving grace that there is still like my era mode, or do you feel like eventually my era is probably gonna get dropped off the face of the cliff in favor of the mode that actually pays money?
Um, I don't ever see them getting rid of my eras, just because of, even though the community is probably only like 30,000 strong, that's still 30,000 people. It's like 30,000 strong at most. And it's like, but that's 30,000 people buying the game. They're not putting any more money in the game, but they're buying the game. And I feel like 2K feels they're making enough money off my career and my team that, because we're talking about my career, people put money in. We're not even talking about my team people
Oh,
for
that's a
the
different bank. That is a
uh,
different bank.
I be watching video, people be putting thousands of dollars in it for a 3% chance to pull a 95 plus, and it's like, that's a lot of money to get a card that's not even gonna be viable in 2 weeks.
No, no, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Do you before we switch over to the my team, because I want to talk a little bit about that. Do you what position do you actually play at in my career? Like, what are you, a guard? Are you a center, small
I'm
forward?
I usually in the point guard. I switch over to the center whenever needed, because it's only me and one other person that with our group that we run when we run prom and everything, run point guard. And I'll switch over to my center sometimes if needed, because depending on the kind of style we play, because his center is more offensive oriented. So when we're running with his center, then he's scoring a lot. My center is a pure defensive. I always model my big men out of either Dennis Rodman or Dikembe Mutombo.
Okay.
It depends on the 2K. Like if it's a 2K where interior defense matters, then I'm gonna be Dikembe. But if I can see, even if I have a 7-2 big man scoring in paint's easy, then I'm gonna be a Dennis Rodman, be like a pure defense. I can switch, I can guard the guard, so that we don't have to play when we play pick and roll. I can switch everything.
Yeah.
And so we can make our team more versatile. So when I'm on my center, we have a more defense, but I usually play point guard and go at like that though, for the most part.
Okay. Okay. So during the story centric mode, are you a designated point guard? Is that your primary player?
Yeah, during the story, but I'm not gonna lie, during the story, I usually just cheese the AI.
I
Just
feel
to,
you.
yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. So switching over, do you actually play the my team mode?
I was a big my team player up until last year. Last year was the first year that I didn't get into my team. It was the very first year.
What?
After they moved on, I think it was 2K when they bring it, yeah, 2K13 when they brought it in. From 2K13 to about 2K 18, I was mainly a my team player. I started playing,
Wow.
yeah, I was mainly in my team. I started playing, learning to play more pro-am in 2K19. That's when me and my friends started playing more of it before we got in the league. But before that, I was a strictly my team player going broke.
I bet you were. I bet you were.
Yeah.
So for myself, I at a principle, there's something ingrained in me to where like I refuse. I just absolutely refuse to pay more money to after I bought a video game. Like I unless it's like a DLC to where I know I'm getting story centric DLC, I can't support you. Like I cannot support paying additional money just to play a casino game. Like I
I
can't
wish I
do
was
it.
like you.
I can't like my principal won't let me do it. Like I could go I can play different games like Mass Effect, I can play like Arkham City, I can play recently Harry Potter like Hogwarts Legacy. I can play those games. I know I have paid $60 to $70 and I know what I'm getting. I cannot in good conscience pay 2K an extra $20 to $50 just so I can get like a golden Dirk Nowitzki. Like I can't do that.
Like I said, I wish I was like you. I wish I can't stay strong because when I'm playing, I just put in all those hours. I just put in like 50 hours on a weekend, not sleeping. And because I was like, okay, the game came out Thursday night. From Friday to Sunday, I played all these challenges, and I only ended up with an 88. And I'm playing people online; they got like 90s, and I'm like, I'm about to just open it up. I'm just gonna open it up, and I'm like, because you get frustrated losing, and I'm like, I'm a sore loser, so I was like, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it, and then that's a dangerous game because once you buy one, then you buy another, then you keep buying. Next thing you know, you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're like, that's money I'm never gonna get back for cars. I spent it back in October and or November, and those cars I spent $100 on, I can't even use them in April. I can't even
that
use them in January.
that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So let me ask you, how much money do you think 2K got out of you?
Oh, me. Oh, they get an easy $2,000 to $3,000 every year.
Good lord. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
easy, easy.
Oh
All
my
my
god.
friends make fun of me because and the way I always justify it too, because my wife goes crazy too. The way I justify it, I say I don't go out. I don't really eat out that much. I don't do anything like that. I said, I always break it down like that. Think about how much money you spend on the day to day going. Like if you went to go get your lunch like twice that week, that one week you might have spent nowadays you probably spend like $30-$40 that week on
Yeah.
lunch. I spent that on 2K that week. That's how I was like, I didn't go out to eat. I did that. I didn't go out drinking with my friends because like a lot of them like y'all go drinking, y'all go clubbing, y'all do all these things. I don't go with them. I don't buy shoes. I've had the same pair of basketball shoes for the past 4 years. I'm like, I don't go grab it, all those other things. So I was like, okay, I justify it by the only thing that I do is go to NBA games and microtransaction of video games, whether it be Fortnite, Apex, whatever game I microtransactions.
So this problem isn't just NBA 2K. This is
Oh, it's not.
Fortnite and Fortnite and Apex as well.
It's every game I play that has microtransactions. I'm a I have no willpower when it comes to it.
Okay, okay. So whenever they come out with any game that's similar to that, they know they got your money.
Oh, they it's a lock. It's a lock. They got mine.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm just going to be real with you, and I don't mean to harp on you or anything like that. Your wife's got that covered, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you like this: if my wife caught me spending $2,000 on the same video game every single year, I think that'd be my ass. I think I don't even think I'd be allowed in our bedroom. I think I'd just be
She
straight on
doesn't
the
know the
couch.
exact money. She just knows I spend a lot of money on it. She doesn't know the
Okay,
exact
gotcha,
number.
gotcha,
I
gotcha.
can't let her know the exact number, or
Okay.
I'd be right there with you. She knows it's a lot of money though.
Okay, so we're not gonna let her listen to this episode at
Oh,
all.
absolutely not. No,
No,
absolutely
absolutely
not.
not. Absolutely not. I'm like, everyone, do not send his wife any DMs or anything like that. We're gonna keep this
Oh
episode on
man,
the DL.
please. This will be my last episode because you won't see me anymore.
Just be 6 feet under.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So let me ask you, like, playing just just pick up and play. Like, if you're playing against, do you ever play just random people online? Like, do you ever just play the pickup games, or do you just
Like the play now online.
yeah?
Yeah, I usually near the end of the year because I'm in that cycle right now. So usually about the February April time frame, I stopped playing what's called Pro Am as much because most of the leagues die because the Pro Am draft, the 2K league happens, and so a lot of players go over there and they can't play in both because it's an amateur versus pro.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't play anymore. So like one of our point guards, like he tried to get into the draft and everything, and so like that happens. So you can't play. They can't play anymore. So I'm like, okay, and then rec and everything else in park starts to feel repetitive. So I'm like, okay, I need to find something to do. So I start playing play now, and then I usually play until I get to that Hall of Fame tier. So last year I got the Hall of Fame, and then I didn't play any more games after. Once I get in the Hall of Fame tier, I stopped playing because
Okay.
yeah, so it's enjoyable to play the whole what's called just head to head, do everything like that. It's usually pretty fun because it's a fun way to step away. It's not stressful. You're not spending money, and it's just enjoyable to learn how to play with every team.
Okay, I gotcha. One of the things I dislike about that mode, and maybe this is just me speaking from experience, is I seem to get kicked out of matches a lot.
Yeah,
Or where
yeah.
people back out of matches and such.
Excuse me. Well, it's more so like yeah, they back out or they glitch it to like there's certain ways how they quit. Like let's say they dashboard, it
Mm-hmm.
gives you both a loss. So they grieve and they're like, okay, they don't want to finish the game. They give you both a loss. And it's like, okay, well, y'all kicked me out of the game. It's not my fault that they quit.
Exactly.
But they, as long as they don't actually pause the menu and quit, then more than likely you're gonna get a loss from it. And I don't like that either because how the play now system is the rank up, you have to get a certain amount of wins in within 12 games.
Yeah, that's
You know?
crazy. That's absolute crazy. They want you to keep playing this game, man.
They do. They do. I like that they also have tier one, tier two, and tier three teams in play now.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have to play every team. So because it's not fun when you load up every single time. Like let's say a few years ago when KD was on the Warriors, now that KD's on the Suns, nobody wants to play the Suns with KD.
No.
Nobody wants to do that every game. I'm like, come on, bro. Like y'all know what y'all are doing. Like if it brings you back to the old school, like if you're over my house playing, there's certain teams that are off limit. They're banned. You can't use these teams.
No,
So
no.
just use them online. So I like going in like tier three, and you have to either like use the Rockets, OKC, a team like that. It's like okay, you can challenge yourself versus being in. If I want to go in tier one, now I know you're gonna play the war. I'm at the Suns or whatever. I can prepare myself. But if I don't want to deal with them, I'm gonna stay over here in tier two, tier three, and just play games like this.
Yeah, and that feels more competitive, and it feels like
Mm-hmm.
it's fair because I'm like, like I would probably say right now, okay, so he's slightly better than the Rockets, probably by a good like 5 to 6 points on that point, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's still a competitive game at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Um,
Yeah.
well now after the Eric Gordon situation, it might just be even worse, but you get what I mean though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but yeah, it's crazy to me. Like, I do you ever play the WNBA system on this game?
I haven't this year. I did last year.
For
And the reason I
shame.
haven't this year is because last year they did it. I feel like they did it lazily last year.
Mm-hmm.
They did it lazily. Like where you could play, they added the online mode and it's just 3v3. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh,
Yeah, but 90% of the time you're playing AIs. It might be you, one other person, and then it's just four AIs. And it's like, that's kind of lame. It's kind of lame.
yeah.
I don't want to do that. And like they kind of be unfair to the girls because they're trying to make they keep them on the same spectrum of the NBA players. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like they're moving pretty slow, their dribbling's not as good, and like it just feels a little janky when you're moving with them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried it this year, so I don't know. I can't speak on this year, but last year that's how I felt.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't tried it this year either. And it's more for shame on me because like I should probably give them a fair shot. But like I'm gonna be honest, if I turn on 2K, I'm going straight to my era kind of mode, and I'm getting back to the grind of like trying to rebuild these supersonics. And I've probably spent 20 years in the game. From all the way from their starting point. I think you started 64. I think is what they let you start at the Magic Johnson era, so to speak. And I've now gotten, or maybe it might be 80.
I think it's 80s that
80, yeah.
you start in the
Yeah,
80s.
80s, my bad. So yeah, I've started all the way to like the 80s, and I'm now gotten to, I think I want to say 2004 or so. So
Ooh.
I'm about, yeah, it's a lot of simulation. I'm not gonna lie and say I played all those season games or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, but like I've gotten to the point to where I'm coming up on that big KD decision to where I'm like, I'm not gonna let this team go to OKC. I'm not gonna do that. We're not repeating history here, and
Mhm.
I'm not committing that cardinal sin of taking the Supersonics out of Seattle. So
I
what
feel
I'm
that.
gonna do is I'm gonna make a new created team, and they can be the OKC Thunder. Y'all can start your stuff all over again.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
because it's like I don't want to lose our team.
no. I'm gonna do that. They can, they can get that first round draft pick or whatever draft pick. They can get the expansion draft and all that. And we're gonna go about our business being the Seahawks. And to balance it out, I'm gonna add two teams to where because I have to have one team on the East, one team on the West. Because other than that, it'll be an odd number, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want it to be an odd number. So I think I might bring the Baltimore Bullets back. What do you think? Do you think I should bring the Baltimore Bullets back, or maybe I should keep the Bobcats?
That's a. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I mean Baltimore doesn't outside the Ravens. They don't really. I think the Bulls would be cool. I was trying to think of like the fan bases there. I don't know how much Baltimore cares about basketball, but with all they having is the Ravens, I think that'd be fair.
Yeah, I'm like, do I do I keep? I don't know.
And Charlotte doesn't need a team because then Michael Jordan's gonna own them again, and it's just gonna be awful.
the
Great
crazy
player, but awful, awful, awful owner.
the crazy thing is like I'm okay with Charlotte having the team. I think what's tripping me up right now is I'm one of those people that kind of I miss all the cities that I grew up with having a team still. So I might do Vancouver. I might do two
Okay,
new teams.
Vancouver Grizzlies, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I also like Memphis though. I'm like, do I just make a new Vancouver team and just keep the Memphis Grizzlies history and all that kind of stuff and just move the Grizzlies to the west. I mean to the east at that point.
Yeah, I can see that as well because Memphis already feels on the east side
Yeah.
anyway. Feels
Mhm.
on the east side. And Vancouver, I feel like they didn't get a fair chance because they were like, okay, it was basketball wasn't big in Canada at the time. So it's like you have the Grizzlies and you have the Raptors, but then the Raptors get Vince Carter. So of course they're more exciting than y'all.
Yeah.
And then they get Tracy McGrady. So it's like, okay, they're exciting. Vancouver's like, we don't really have any superstars or stars over here. So y'all are kind of boring. Y'all don't have a fan base. Canada as a whole is just rocking with the Raptors. I don't feel like they got a fair shot. So I like the Vancouver thing as well. I feel like they need a fair shot.
Yeah. Vancouver. And then as the Luca era starts, I'm like a whole lot of people will probably play in Vancouver, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna do that then. I'm gonna add two expansion teams, and I'm gonna add both of them to the West. Vancouver's gonna be a Western team, and then I'll create a new OKC Thunder team. They're not taking my Supersonics, and then and then I'm moving those over, and then I'll probably move Memphis over, and maybe if I have to move over another team over, I can move over a simple team out east, maybe New Orleans or something.
Yeah, New Orleans feels like they should be on the East as well too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
I
weird.
like it. You helped me plan out quite a bit because I've been nearing this decision and I'm like I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. What do you think about the 2K and everybody's been complaining about the different generations? Because they say, can you remember the 2K community used to be a unit? It was just Xbox versus PlayStation. Now you have Xbox current gen, PlayStation current gen, Xbox next gen, PlayStation next gen. So instead of just two communities, there's four different communities on 2K to where it feels split. And 2K is not a game that's big like a Call of Duty or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it has a fan base, but it's not like Call of Duty to where the communities feel separate because then it's like they don't feel as much of a unit, and the experience doesn't feel the same as when like in the years past.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and we forgot one PC. There is
Oh yeah, the
2K
PC.
PC
Yeah.
and Switch, but let's stick for PlayStation and Xbox because that's where the big generational gap is. It's like I'm almost to the point to where I'm almost to the point where I'm ready to drop the last gen. I hate it for y'all. I hate it for the old school people who are rocking the PS4s and the Xbox Ones, but you got to have some motivation to get these new consoles. So, I I hate to say it like this, but shit will get off the pot. You gotta do what you gotta do. Get you into PS5, get you an Xbox Series S or S because it's gonna be worth it. These you are playing is such an inferior version of 2K as well. Like the my career mode is inferior in all things. I don't think the older generation even had the my era mode. I think it was still just the my
Nope.
career mode, so or the my team mode, you know. So I'm like it's missing so many features now. I I think it's like just cancel that whole last generation and let's get on to the new generation. 2K is not gonna do that, but because they want that monies and money talks for them, and that's the unwilling dollar, so to speak. They're motivated by that. But like I'm almost to the point to where I'm like, I hate it for you, but like don't get that version anyways. I know you have like hustle and just use that money towards that. Skip that year of 2K. Like pay that $60 towards getting a new console. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree because it's like they're wasting so many resources on current gen because 2K doesn't have a big team. So
Mm-mm.
they don't have a big team. So it's like they're splitting their team. And it's like instead of splitting them in two, they're splitting them in four. And it's like that's so strange to me, especially since the current gen doesn't have things like you said, they're missing a lot of features. They don't even have the city. Like we've had three different cities at this point on next gen, and they've all been like they've been different things. So where they have that RPG effect, whereas on current gen, y'all haven't had that city. Y'all haven't had the giant city. Y'all still did a neighborhood. Then y'all had the cruise ship. It's like okay, y'all are on the boat, but it's still like limited to what you can do. You can't walk around and do everything that we can do. So it's like if you're just gonna be putting minimal effort into current gen anyway, especially correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I remember, I might be misremembered when I remember whenever we moved on from 2K13 to 2K14, I remember 2K basically being like, forget the current gen. We're putting all our resources into PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, I
And
think they did make that cut pretty early.
yeah, they made the cut immediately. And so it's like, but now it's 3 years and it's like they still haven't made the cut. And I'm like, what's so different? Why won't y'all make that cut? Like make the cut and then just be like, hey, it I'm sorry, but it is what it is. We have to put our resources into the next gen so that the game can continue to be better instead of putting up a subpar next gen and a subpar current gen because you're trying to do both at the same time.
I'm right there with you. You get no argument from me. I'm like, I'm to the point to where like if PlayStation, Xbox, both of them, I'm like, quit supporting that old console. Like bring even like focus all your resources on the new gen, the modern gen now. Because I'm like, I want to see what all these big beefy games could look like on this console. And so far, I don't even think we've used like 20 to 30% of what the PS5 and the Xbox Series X can do. So imagine when like the resources when they start to finally like divert everything they have into like these new consoles. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be impressive. So I'm like, I leave the past behind. I'm like at this point, like the indie games can support the PS4 and the Xbox Series One. If I'm like and hold you over until you're able to get one of these bigger consoles. But I think one of the things I was going to ask you about 2K is like, do you feel like gameplay wise, this is the best year of 2K that we've had in a while?
Not necessarily. I feel like gameplay wise has improved. In the beginning, it was pretty good. The movement was pretty good, but I feel like 2K kind of locks itself up because they're trying to because of the seasons, so you don't get all the animations. So with every season, the gameplay feels different because it's like the animations you have in season one, and in season two they drop new animations. So everybody starts dribbling different. People start using different jump shots. They start using different post moves and everything, like post fadeaways and stuff. So it's like they change because they're like, okay, well, this dribble move is better. So at first we were playing like this. And then what was it? I think it was last season that they dropped the Curry slide. So that changes everything. Because the
Mhm.
Curry slide is like one of the cheesiest moves in the game. So it's like, yeah, it is. So it's like, all right, so the way people were dribbling in season one and two, and then season three comes out and the Curry slide comes out, it completely changes. This next season that's about to come out next week, I believe, it's gonna change again. So right now, I feel like the gameplay at the beginning of the year was cool, but now I feel like it's just people don't want to adapt, so they just started going to rim running. So it's like left, right, and then they just run to the paint because the moves keep changing, it keeps adapting, and not everybody wants to adapt with it.
I got you. I got you. So, if in your hypothetical world where you were running 2K, so to speak, you just turn off the adaptation or maybe have that as an option in the menus, or would you completely scrap that idea?
I would scrap it all together. I would scrap the seasons because unless you're gonna give us legit rewards, The seasons, I don't want to get animations. I don't want to get anything like that for award, because by season 9, the final season, if I'm just now getting an animation in May or June, July, that's not, it's unlocking it. Then it's like, I've been using this other animation since November, and you want me to switch in July when I've been playing one way because these new animations come out? I don't want that. I want to give all my animation beginning. If you want to play, let everybody, if people want to play the same, let them play the same. If people want to play different, let them play different. But give different rewards for the seasons, or scrap the seasons altogether and just go back to the level system of just try to get to legend.
No,
And then
okay.
just keep all my animations right here. Still have them restricted, obviously, for certain builds and stuff. But if people want to play people are gonna play it how they want, regardless. Whether
Yeah,
you
for
drop
sure.
the animations in May or you drop them in November, people are gonna play how they want, regardless. So just let them. There's no changing it.
So, which team have you played with the most in 2K this year? Has it been the Celtics?
Of course. Of course. I better start thinking, because I play with the historics quite a bit too. If it's just regular, it's the Celtics. But if we go historics, I like to use what's called the Laker. I forgot, what is it, the 70s Laker? The
Hmm.
one with Jerry West,
Oh,
Gil
you.
Goodrich,
Hmm.
and Will. That one's cheesy. So was the Kareem and Oscar one, because you can just post up, people start doubling, and then like somebody like Oscar can shoot.
Hmm.
Somebody, Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, have good shots on the game. So it's like, I sit there and I'm just paint mashing with Wilt. They eventually gonna start doubling and triple teaming Wilt. Kick it out. Somebody like the Magic too, with Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, Penny Hardaway, all can space the floor. I'm getting Shaq, just paint mashing.
Like bodying everybody,
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
at
So
that
those
point.
historic teams, those are the teams I'm using. And the Hakeem one, because of what's called Kenny and what's called Vernon Maxwell and all them. But
Hmm.
outside of that, if it's current teams, I'm using the Celtics. Unless I'm using one of those other tiers, then I just kind of just use whoever. But if I'm just using the current team, I'm using the Celtics.
So, if there was ever a day where Charles Barkley was in 2K, would you use the Phoenix Charles Barkley?
100%. 100%. I hate that I can't use Charles Barkley or Reggie Miller, and because I really want to use those teams. I feel like they'd be really cool. They'd be exciting to use, but they're just not in the game. They're just not in
No.
the game. Neither is Pau Gasol anymore. I think yeah, Pau Gasol took his rights out. Jamal Crawford took his right. They don't have his rights anymore. And I'm just like, that's just so tough, because certain players are like, they're on some cool teams and you'd like to use them, but you can't.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So, what historical teams outside of those do you feel like is missing in 2K?
The ones that are missing. So that's a great question. I think they should have a champion. Whoever won the championship for every team every year
Oh,
should
that's a
be
good
in there.
one.
Every
That's a good
every
one.
year, who the team won the championship, they should be in there, because like that's a great historic team, quote unquote, and you should give them their props. If you won a championship, you should be able to be in there. There's no doubt in my mind in that regard. But I'm trying to think. I don't know what historic team is just truly missing, because the ones that I would say are missing don't have rights to, so they can't get them anyway.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's the only tough part for me.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think Chris Webber's in this game either, is he?
Chris, is he? I haven't used the Kings much, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. So like here's a list. I just pulled up a list of missing players that that doesn't want to be a part of the game, or like the NBA Retired Players Association will not allow it. So Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Chris Webber, Ron Artest, Paul Gasol, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, Alvin Robinson, James Jones. Let me see if there's any other notable names that we recognize. Steve Blake is a name I recognize. Andrew Bonham, um, Sasha, Pavlovich, and let's see, is there Joel Anthony is another name I recognize, but and James Jones, yeah. But
Yeah, that
outside,
James Jones eliminates some of those Heat teams. That eliminates some of those Heat teams right there.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed Wallace, that's the Pistons teams we grew up with.
Yep. So there's that. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's just so difficult. That's so annoying. I would like to see that old Pacers team, the Malice and the Palace teams, that Pacers team that had with Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal and Steven Jackson. I would like to see that team, but we'll never see it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, you know, one of the final questions I really had for you in 2K is what's something that you feel like is missing now that you would like to see in the next 2K24?
A rank system.
Oh, that's a good one.
Rank versus casual, because I feel like in the end with the casual play there should be limitations. Let's say because people are like, okay, we want to run casual, but we don't want, because if you run into the rec nowadays, if you don't want to play pro am, you're running into 2-3 zones, full five lineups, and it's like go to pro am, but they don't want to play pro am because they're not good enough to play pro am, but they're better than the average rec player. So they kind of just sit in the rec and dominate the rec. But it's like the casual players don't want to deal with that. So if you want to be a casual player, play this mode. No, there's no rank system. There's nothing, just chilling. And there should be limitation. You can only come in with like 2 or 3 of your friends or something like that, so that y'all can't just run 2-3 zones and dominate.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
then, yeah, and then you can play the ranked mode, or you can have casual mode where you can play with 5, but there's like restrictions. Like your overall caps at this. Even if you're 99 overall, you're capped at this, and you can't run zones. You can't do that. They have to figure out a way to stop people from playing pro am style and rec.
Mm-hmm.
And then play a ranked mode. So people that want to be competitive is like, you want to play comp, go play this on higher difficulties instead of everything being on like a pro all-star. Y'all playing like a Hall of Fame in that ranked mode, and this casual mode is like on pro, so it's like easier for people that just want to play.
I like that. I like that idea. I like that idea. I can't really speak to a whole lot of modes because you know me, I'm basically playing the same one mode over and over again. But if it's my era, I really like what I've seen so far on my era mode. I would like them to go further with like the coaching situation, to where like you right now you have like so many sub coaches, to where like you have a different subset for like post coach, like a shooting coach, a big man guard, a wing coach and such like that. I would like to actually see like a assistant coach, like a dedicated assistant coach slot instead of I would like that quite a bit. And I think I would like let's go crazy with it. I know right now there's 6 expansion slots that they limit you to. I'd like to raise that limit. I would like to throw in, what if I could get every major city with the NBA team? And I know that's going to spread the roster far, but I want to see the wackiness of that situation. What if I added 10 new expansion teams, and I want to see like how that spreads the league thin a little bit? And I would kind of want to see, but here's the reason why. You're probably thinking I'm crazy, but like
It can explode the game.
you might explode the game. But I mean, like here's my thing. It's like you have a G League with an extensive roster of extensive roster of people. You have a European league to where like so many people are in that thing as well. Like there's so many basketball players that you're not using. And then think about how many just garbage people who never get picked up because we only got 1 or 2 rounds in the draft. Like every single off season, I'd argue there's probably like 16 people that only make it to the league. And then the rest of those draft picks absolutely starve in that free agency list. And then just like you were mentioning earlier with the overpaid, the player who wants to be overpaid, but like is declining, they retire at the end of the season. We never hear from them again. Half of those players can go to rebuilding rosters in that like expansion scenario I'm listing out. So sure, you're going to have like a bottom feeding teams of like probably like 16 teams at that point. But if we're being honest here, though, I mean, like there's some real cool situations to where like every team in that situation could have a star, could have their 1 star. And then you would really have to have a like a prime Dwight Howard situation in Orlando where you have to legitimately build a team around that star. You know what I mean? And then like if you're a good GM, a really good GM, maybe you get 2 stars. But like in 2K right now, I can finesse and get 2.5 to 3 stars on that team. Easy money. Like that in the case like that, there should be no excuse to where like a super team could be built outside of the super teams that are already built now, because like you have that expansion protected lottery to where you get to protect the like 8 players or 12 players, depending on how many you set up. That situation would be like explosive. Because think about it like this: everyone's fighting for that draft pick. Everyone's fighting for that draft pick. Everyone's also fighting in free agency. The league gets spread thin, sure, but like the fight to get into the playoffs, I feel would be rampant at that point. I just
Yeah,
want to see.
that's an
I want
interesting idea.
I want to see how it plays out. It might be a stupid idea, but I at least want to try it out. Give me the flexibility of trying it out. And then another thing I want to be able to incorporate is more custom rules in my era. I want to initiate a bottom feeding, what I would like to call the bottom feeding tournament, to where if you didn't make the playoffs or the play in, you have to enter in a tournament, and the winner of that bottom feeding tournament gets the number one overall draft pick.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy too because the NBA has actually hinted at that idea,
Mm-hmm.
but it keeps getting rejected because people are like, oh, we don't want to do that, blah blah. And so I think it would be cool if they let you add that in my eras. I think that because like it's my NBA, so like I should be able to add whatever rules I want.
Yeah,
I should be able to
exactly.
change it, and even if it's wacky or whatever. Let me take the NBA. I'm the commission. Let me take the NBA where I want to take it.
Yeah, and here's another situation I want to throw at you. I said just add a whole bunch of expansion teams, but imagine if you add 10 historical teams to that, to
Mm-hmm.
where they're
Yeah.
still playing in the era that we're playing in today. To where I'm like, you can still take those, you can add those expansion like historical teams, and then you really get to see what those teams stack up with players today. I think that's fascinating, at least for one, maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah, just give it 1 or 2 seasons. Just be like that'd be a cool. That's just a cool idea. I think just to go back into the my era thing. I think they should give you more. Bring my GM back, but in a
Mm-hmm.
better way. In a better
Oh,
way
that's
to
a good one.
where it's like,
Mhm.
because think about it right now. My GM, the story was okay, but it was kind of bland.
Yeah.
Think about it more like a my career setting, but also let's say, or my coach instead of my coach. Like, let's say you can live out the life as a coach. Like, you're making the rotations and you're doing everything like that. And you're taking them practice stuff. And then if you do well, why don't we have the Olympics in 2K? Why don't
Oh,
we have the Olympics? Bring that in, and it can be a part of my league, my GM, my NBA, and bring it in there. And if you're or like the new my coach that I want to do, and if you're a cool coach, you're one of the top coaches, you get elected. Why can't I, as a coach, also, even though they don't have the rights to these college teams, in my career, you literally play college games. So why can't we go and have our scouts actually go to those things and go see, because you already have it in the game because of micro. We see these colleges, we see these players, they're in the game already. Why can't you just add that with my league? I go over them like, all right, as a GM or as a coach, I'm over here and I'm watching the game, like, okay, blah blah. Even if it's just a cut scene of it, why is that not in the game? Why is that
oh,
not
you're
there?
you're speaking to the choir now. Yeah, you got me as soon as you were like, add the Olympics. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let's add that for sure. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm taking a step forward. Add the Euro League to it.
They used to have so many European teams in 2K. Remember
Yep.
that? They used to.
Hmm.
What happened to it?
I have no idea. No idea. I'm like, I understand you added the WNBA, and kudos for doing that. We need representation, but add the EuroLeague back, add the Olympics back, and if you're doing this African League, add that. Go ahead and do that. I need more. This is a basketball game. Give us less VC options to give us more basketball.
See, they're gonna listen in, take that idea. I'm like, you right. We need to add this. That's gonna be the DLC. Since we can't monetize my league, that's how we gonna do. For
Oh
extra,
no,
fifty
no.
dollars right here, y'all can get the DLC expansion where y'all can play with all the teams and all
Oh
these
no.
leagues in my league.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The day they start monetizing my era mode is the day I quit 2K. Like I just know it. Like I told you, like my general principle, as much as I love basketball, will not let me to like buy any more VC stuff. So the day they do that, I'm gonna have to be. I don't know what to do. And there's no other basketball alternative. I might have to figure something out. Like I might have to go back to NBA Street or something. But like I cannot. I won't be able to support it. I won't be able to do that.
I respect it. I respect it, but I'm just saying, eventually it's coming. Eventually it's coming. You just don't know when.
I you know I've I don't know what to do in that situation, because if that situation happens, I'm gonna be absolutely heartbroken.
Especially since you want to try that mode. You're like, oh, they finally brought this. I want to try this. I'm interested. I want to get into it. Wait, I gotta pay for that? No, I don't think I can. I'm gonna have to watch some YouTube videos and watch how they do it. Watch how they experience it.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Absolutely rough, man. Yeah, that's gonna be heartbreaking. I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, you sons of bitches. If y'all do that, man, y'all gonna have to catch me in the street. Y'all really gonna have to catch me. Yeah. I'm gonna have to give you that 2 piece of the biscuit, right? The street.
Absolutely, because that's ridiculous, man.
That is crazy. So let me ask you. So 2K is probably your most played game of 2022 and probably 2023, right?
It's the most played game every year.
Okay. So far this year, do you think in 2023 it's your most played game, but is it your favorite game this year?
It's not my favorite game this year. It's not my favorite game, but it is my most played.
Okay, well, out of 2023 games, like games that have come out in 2023, which one is it?
Out of games that came out in 2023, is it too early to say Hogwarts? Is it too early to say Hogwarts?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, because I've been thoroughly enjoying myself on Hogwarts. So I would like to say it's Hogwarts, but it's so early in the year, so it's like we don't know what other games are going to come out. Maybe another game is going to obviously take it, but yeah, I would say it's Hogwarts. I've been enjoying myself.
Okay, so what? Okay, I got a couple of follow-up questions. What house are you in Hogwarts Legacy?
Hufflepuff.
Yeah, let's go. That's my boy right there. We both Hufflepuffs over here. Yeah. So Hufflepuff. How many hours have you played so far? Do you feel like?
I think me and my wife have played about 40 hours.
Oh my goodness.
But 35 of those hours are her just walking around doing Revelio. Because I was making fun of her. I'm like, yo, you have to let's actually play the story. She's like, no, I have to get all the papers and get all these things. I'm like, all right, we're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah. She is definitely she's experiencing the world of Hogwarts and she's loving it, huh?
Mm-hmm. She's loving the open world. She keeps just exploring and just looking at the map. And I'm like, you can play the game. She's like, no, but look how they did this. Because she's not a big gamer. So she's new. It's just like, look at this. Look at this. This looks so great. They got this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. So I'm just sitting here watching you just walk around.
So in your household, she's the big Harry Potter fan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So are you familiar with Harry Potter? Or are you just like on the outside looking in on all this?
I'm relatively familiar with it. Like, I watched the movies whenever she made me watch them, but I didn't read the books or anything like that. And it wasn't like I was so into the movie that I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but when the game is and she wanted to play the game, but I've been enjoying the game from an outsider looking in.
Okay, gotcha. And so what's your favorite aspect about the game? Is it the combat? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the flying? What's your favorite part about it so far?
I had to think about my favorite part. I would have to. I don't know. I like the storytelling. Like I like kind of like Persona, like where you can choose what you want to do. Like I don't have to play the main story. If I want to just go around, walk around, or if I want to go do these side things and buy things and just do my own thing, I can do it that way. So I think that'd be my favorite aspect, just getting to do what I want without them like forcing me to play and play a certain thing. Like they'll be like, this is the main quest. When I'm looking at the quest journal, I'm like, yeah, but I don't have to do this. So I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I feel you. So I got a question for you. Have you've been watching several different animes over the course of this year. Of course you have. You do a podcast about it, and you watch all the new anime releases every single one every season. It's exhausting. It sounds exhausting.
It is.
So have you decided that you wanted to get into anime gaming right now? Because that scene is blowing up. There are like games based on animes.
I want to. I just haven't gotten into them yet. And the part that usually gets me is the combat style, because it's hard for me to take my personal bias out of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's hard for me to do that. So when I see it and I'm like, I watch the anime and I have all these expectations, and then I play a game, and then the game's combat doesn't feel appropriate or feel right, and because obviously it's hard to it's like you make a Dragon Ball Z game, like how they have Kakarot and everything. It's hard to make it exactly how they do in the show. Or you have another game, it's like it's hard for them to do it exactly in the show, like the One Piece game. I was trying to play, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
It
So it's
doesn't
hard
feel
for
like
me.
One Piece, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like One Piece, so it's hard to get into it. But I keep telling myself I'm going to. Like just like I started watching anime movies, I said I'm gonna start playing anime games. I just have to just jump into it. And then maybe if I give myself more than an hour of playtime, I'll actually find myself enjoying it.
Okay. Gotcha. So, last question. We'll bring it back to 2K for the last question here. Do you recommend that people jump into 2K23 this year? Or do you feel like, hey, if you haven't played it by now, just wait and wait for 2K24?
Absolutely not. Do not get to if you have not gotten the game, do not get it. Because there's no point. 2K24 is here in like 6 months, 6, 7 months. You've waited this long. Wait to 2K. Wait to 2K24 because all you're going to get into is a money hungry microtransaction based game. And if you're going to be in it this late in the game and you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, then you're just going to be too far behind, especially if you want to play online. But if you want to play if you want to play your experience and you're just playing Play Now Online or you're playing My Era, go ahead and get the game. It's enjoyable. But I would recommend getting it on PC so you can mod it. Yeah, I promise you, I'd recommend get on PC mod it. But if you're playing it like on like the online aspect, don't do it. Don't waste your time.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that concludes our 2K deep dive coverage. But before we go, I got one last question for you, AthGeek, and that is, are you ready?
I am.
Hey, what are you ready for?
I'm ready for your question and for me to get the answers wrong.
Okay, he already knows what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is Are You a Pro Nerd trivia portion of the show where we asked our esteemed guests 5 different categories based on 5 different topics. I have with me right here on this screen right beside me the Wheel of Destiny. Wherever this wheel lands, it is the topic that we're going to give to him. We do have the 5th question rule where he gets to decide his destiny. Does he want category A or category B? We're not going to tell him which categories are which. He's just going to have to decide and hope that he chose the best. All that said, are you ready? It's been a while since the last time you competed in this squared circle, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I am ready. I'm ready.
Redemption time, huh?
Yeah. Or embarrass myself again.
Okay. I like the attitude. So here we go. All right. This category, our first category, is in the realm of Pokemon. How familiar are you with these little critters, these Pokemans?
I haven't watched this show in quite a while, but I get the game every year, so I think I'm pretty okay. Maybe.
Okay. All right. I like that. So, in the realm of Pokemon, there is Pokemon Generation number 1. There is a Pokemon by the name of Jigglypuff and Wigglypuff. On the flip side of that, there's also a Pokemon by the name of Clefairy. Clefairy is the 35th Pokemon in Gen 1. What Pokemon does Clefairy evolve into?
Clefairy just gets bigger. That's all it really happens with.
You can picture
I can picture it, but I can't. Oh my gosh, this is killing me. I don't know. I know it's a moon Pokemon, but like it likes the moonlight and it like to dance around. But I can't think of it off the top of my head. Nope. I see it, but I see it. It has a long body. I see it, but I just don't know the name. I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
You're absolutely right. It grows up. It has a long body. It gets a little bit of a butt, and that's pretty much it. The Pokemon's name is Clefable.
Clefable, golly, it's annoying because I see it, but I couldn't remember the name. Here we go again.
It's all good. And in our next question, we have Harry Potter. You've been playing the game Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe that information has soaked in.
Has not.
It has not. Oh no! Oh no! Well, we'll see. Hopefully you'll still get it regardless. Okay, so In the world of Harry Potter, there is there's a couple of different houses that you can basically become a part of, so to speak. You have the house of Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor. What is the missing house that I did not name? Four houses in Hogwarts. You have Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor. You're missing one. What is the one I'm missing?
Sigh.
Is Sai your answer?
It has to be because I don't have an answer. Oh my gosh, this made me look bad last time. It's making me look bad again.
Okay. The answer is Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw, yeah.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you going to tell your wife about that question? Cause
I'm not. She's gonna make fun of me.
that's okay. It's okay. All right. So, your next question is in the realm of Marvel. Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, as we like to call it in the hood. What are you ready for this?
I'm ready to please get one answer right.
All right, all right. So, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there is a character with red hair who goes by Natasha Romanoff. What is her superhero name?
Natasha Romanoff is the Black Widow.
He got it correct. He got it correct.
I
He's on
finally
the
got it
board.
correct.
He's on the board.
I'm not gonna lie. If you didn't say Natasha, I was gonna get it wrong. Because when you just said red hair, I was like, I drew a blank.
Oh, you drew a blank. So okay, it's good that kind of sparked your memory there. All right, so next up we have the realm of DC. DC Comics. Are you prepared for DC Comics?
I'm not. I don't follow DC.
Oh no, not at all.
Not at all, really.
Okay, I got you. I got you. So, all right, in the realm of DC, what is this? What iconic character is the sidekick to the iconic villain, the Joker?
Oh, Harley Quinn, the
Yeah.
best girl ever. That's the best girl in any movie series. I love Harley Quinn.
All right, he got two right. He got two right, two wrong. So far, you coming in strong.
Yeah, the two questions I should have had, I got wrong. Questions I shouldn't have had, I got right.
Hey, it happens. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles.
It
So,
is.
all right, our last question is in the realm of. It's up to you because it's our fifth and final question. Are you going with A or B?
We're gonna go with A.
A.
Let's go and get an A.
Okay, I got you. I got you. A is interesting because A is in the realm. First time ever we've got this category. It is in the realm of PlayStation.
Okay.
PlayStation. Okay. So, all right. Here we go. In the realm of PlayStation. All right. So, there is a series by the name of Uncharted. Uncharted stars Nathan Drake, one of my favorite and protagonists in all of PlayStation. Nathan Drake's best friend and companion in the Uncharted series was named what?
NA.
NA. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, yep, NA.
Can I ask, have you not played Uncharted?
I have watched Chris Move play Uncharted. I have not played Uncharted.
Okay.
I've watched the Let's Plays.
All right. The answer is solely from Uncharted. So, have you watched the Uncharted movie yet?
I have not.
Okay. Do you think you're going to?
No, because my brain's gonna be fried with anime.
Okay, I bet.
It's anime and sports for me. Anything else, and my brain can't hold it in it.
I bet. All right. So, would you like to see the road not taken and see what category you would have got?
Absolutely.
All right. So, ultimately, you got 2 out of 5 correct. Pretty good showing, all things considering. But we have the road not taken. Let's see where the wheel lands. It is. Oh, snap. It is Gomo Gomo no One Piece.
That's the one I could have used.
Yeah.
One Piece is what I could have used right there. Oh man, that's disappointing.
I don't
I know
know.
next time I'm going with B.
This is our first time we've also had a One Piece question, by the way.
Oh, that's tough.
All right. So, all right. Spoiler alert for people who haven't watched One Piece yet and plan on it. But like in the realm of One Piece, the main character, Monkey D. Luffy, manages to sneak into a prison known as Imperial Down. What character helps him sneak into the prison?
Oh, you talk okay. So Boa Hancock helps him sneak into it. Once he's in it, Buggy helps him.
Buggy the Clown. I like
Yep.
that. So the answer was Boa Hancock. So if you would have chose B, you would have got 3 out of 5 correct instead of the
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
All right, all right. So all things considered, not bad showing. Not bad showing. You got some good ones there. You missed out on some, but all the ones you missed out on, you just didn't know the topic. It's the wheel was the enemy in that equation.
Absolutely. That's what I'm gonna blame it on.
Yeah, you got to blame it on the wheel sometimes. So outside of that, though, how do you feel about your performance today?
I think last time I got 2 out of 5 too, so I didn't improve at all.
No, no, but I think the topics that you got were a little different. So,
The
you
topic
know,
was different, so but it still didn't improve at all.
no.
Maybe next time I'll actually get to 3.
All right. So, do you want me to read the wheel topics to you and maybe you'll kind of be able to prepare?
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be a spoiler to the other listeners, but yeah.
Maybe so. All right. So here on the wheel, like I'm just gonna read some of them to you because this thing goes 40 deep. But like you got some of them I just added recently. You got One Piece, you got Dragon Ball Z, you have MCU, um you got DC, you have James Bond, you have yeah, that's a tough one. The one is Star Trek, Star Wars. You also have Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. You have video games by Nintendo, our newest one, PlayStation, and our newest one, Xbox Trivia, and so on and so forth. And then we have just general anime trivia right here as well. So yeah, looks like we got a fair amount of categories. That's just off the surface. We can go into micro categories from there. But like, yeah, the wheel just spins around, it lands on a category, and I just read it out.
That's a cool idea though. I like that idea.
Yeah. And do you feel like I'm missing a category?
Not really. I mean, cause you already got the video game category, and that's the only other thing I'll be like break it down even deeper with the video game, single player versus multiplayer. I don't know.
I think you might be digging a hole for the newer contestants of the show, single player, multiplayer games.
But hey, that's just another category. I don't know.
All right, let's see. All right, let's. I'll add that category to the wheel and see what happens. All right, so multiplayer trivia. All right, so all right, you want me to ask you a multiplayer trivia question based on the wheel that just popped up now?
Whew, whew. Yeah, Lee trying to make me embarrass myself even more. But go ahead. That's what the fans want.
Okay, gotcha. Let me see. All right. Here we go. What was the name of the video game that came out where you can play as Batman, Shaggy, Wonder Woman, and other characters to fight one another in a game similar to Super Smash Brothers?
I just remember Shaggy was broken. But what is that game called? Something verse. I can't think of the hit. It's download. That makes me mad because it's download on my system. And if I had my system turned on right now, I'd be able to, but I have my black monitor right now. That's disappointing. I don't remember. Go ahead and tell me.
Multiverses.
Yeah, I just knew all I can remember was the verse.
So you see,
Multiverse sounded wrong.
You've opened up a can of new worms for people. This is another hurdle people are going to have to jump over to get to that 5 questions down.
Yeah, hey, you got to. If you want to be a pro nerd, you have to be an expert in all things nerdom. So
I like it. All right. So Feel free to add more suggestions to bury people deeper. So I like that. Maybe we might do Zelda next, just rhyme Zelda and all that kind of stuff. Break it down even further. But AthGeek, it's been very fun having you on the show. Would you like to say anything before you go?
No, thanks for having me again. This is always exciting. This is always fun. I like when we get together and can talk like this. This is always cool. I always enjoy these situations and these moments.
Sounds good. Let me know what you're playing. We're gonna have you back on the show to do another deep discussion real soon. All right.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. So without further ado, everyone, that's been it for this episode. We'll catch you after the next one. Peace out, man.
Peace out.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Also, for more videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right here. Thanks again for watching the video, and for more like it, stay